Hello everyone, and welcome back to American Nightmare. We've all heard the stories, the ones whispered around campfires or shared late at night in Discord calls. Usually we dismiss them as just that, stories. But while scrolling through TikTok recently, I went down a rabbit hole that changed my perspective. It turns out, some of the most chilling urban legends weren't born from imagination, they were born from the truth. Today, we're re-looking at urban legends that were either true the whole time or became a terrifying reality. I've linked all my sources in the description below because here at American Nightmare we believe in giving credit where it's due. If you have a dark curiosity for the macabre, hit that subscribe button. Let's dive in. 1. The Bunny Man of Fairfax County. We're starting in Virginia with a legend I've touched on before. But the reality is even weirder than the myth. The legend says that in 1904, a bus transporting patients from an asylum crashed in Fairfax County. One man supposedly escaped, and soon after, locals began finding skinned rabbits hanging from the Fairfax Station Bridge, now known as Bunnyman Bridge. While the 1904 story is largely unproven, the real American Nightmare began in 1970. A couple was parked on a dark road when a man in a white bunny suit emerged from the woods and hurled a hatchet through their car window. 2 weeks later, another man saw a figure in the same suit hacking away at the porch of an empty house with an axe. Police never caught him. Whether it was a prankster inspired by the legend or a genuine psychopath, the Bunny Man went from a campfire tale to a documented police report. 2. Charlie No Face, the Green Man. Next, we moved to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, for a story that is as heartbreaking as it is haunting. For decades, locals told stories of Charlie No Face, a glowing, faceless figure who haunted a specific train tunnel at night. It was said that his very presence could make electronics go haywire. Teens would flock to the tunnel, hoping to catch a glimpse of the monster. The monster, however, was a man named Raymond Robinson. When he was a child, Raymond survived a horrific electrical accident that left him severely disfigured. Because he didn't want to scare people during the day, he only walked outside under the cover of darkness. He wasn't a ghost, and he wasn't a killer. He was a lonely man who sometimes traded photos or conversations for cigarettes. The urban legend turned a victim of tragedy into a neighborhood bogeyman. 3. Cropsey of Staten Island. This next one is truly disturbing. On Staten Island, parents used to warn their children about Cropsey, a swielding bogeyman who lived in the tunnels beneath the abandoned Willowbrook State School. But in the 1970s and 80s, children actually started disappearing. The legend became a reality in the form of Andre Rand. Rand had been a janitor at Willowbrook, and after it closed he continued to live on the grounds in a series of makeshift campsites. He was eventually convicted of kidnapping, and many believe he was the physical embodiment of the Cropsey legend. If you want to dive deeper, there is an incredible documentary simply titled Cropsey that covers the chilling overlap between the myth and the man. 4. The Toilet Rat. Let's take a quick break for something a bit grosser. We've all heard the friend of a friend story about a rat crawling up through the plumbing and biting someone in the bathroom. It sounds like an internet hoax, right? Well, it's 100% possible. In a famous segment on This American Life, a man in Oregon recounted the horror of lifting his toilet lid after a night out only to find a very alive, very wet rodent staring back at him. Rats are incredible swimmers and can collapse their rib cages to fit through pipes the size of a quarter. Consider this your new American nightmare every time you use the bathroom at 3 a.m. 5. The Funhouse Mummy. This is perhaps the most bizarre story on our list. In 1975, a film crew for the show The 6 Million Man was filming at a funhouse in Long Beach, California. They tried to move a hanging man prop that they thought looked a bit too fake. When they grabbed the arm, it snapped off, revealing a human bone. The prop was actually the mummified corpse of Elmer McCurdy, an outlaw killed in a 1911 shootout. Because no one claimed his body, an unscrupulous undertaker turned him into a sideshow attraction. For 60 years, Elmer's body was sold and traded, eventually being covered in wax and paint because people forgot he was a real person. He was finally given a proper burial in 1977. 6. Buried alive. Octavia Hatcher. Finally, we look at the universal fear of being buried alive. In the late 1800s, Octavia Hatcher of Kentucky fell into a deep coma following the death of her infant son. She was pronounced dead and buried almost immediately. Shortly after, other locals fell into similar comas but eventually woke up, realizing a mistake might have been made. Octavia's husband frantically had her casket exhumed. They found the inside of the lid shredded, Octavia's fingernails were broken, and her face was contorted in terror. She had woken up 6 feet under. It's a story that stays with you, reminding us that sometimes the things we fear most have already happened to someone else. Outro. It's scary how thin the line is between a story and the truth. If you know of any other legends that turned out to be real, or if you live near Bunnyman Bridge, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your local perspective. I'll be uploading every Wednesday here on American Nightmare, with the occasional bonus video if the research gets too good to wait. Stay safe, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.